I'm used to it by now. Stress is just an inescapable part of being a working adult. Boss, I'll have a glass. Do you want something too? I'll put it on my tab.
Wine in a glass of juice?
I know you're already keeping a secret from me. That guy, though. What was... Another glass, please, boss.
You've got it, sir. I gotta say, though, it almost feels...
It really is every other day, but perhaps getting used? I would spend a lot of time altering my designs. No worries. It's been bothering me for a while. Even when I'm away. Sounds great to me. I don't even want to think about a different career. I think I've heard a saying somewhere before. It's just a saying, of course, but even I will admit that my life would be... And if I want to make Mora... Hold on. I just remembered that I used to have a senior classmate by the name of Alkami. Maybe I'll be able to get some advice from him. Yeah, I should get on this right away.
Clase, it's you!
Yeah, it's been a long time, Alkami. Things haven't changed much for me.
I heard that you were the genius behind the Palace of Alcazazare. I bet you're all set for more...
Well, it's hard to make a profit.
Hard to make a profit? You've got to be joking. Unless the client fled before they paid the commission fee in full.
Well,
I understand. Either way, doing one project after another sure gets exhausting over the years. I mean, I obviously never had your reputation to live up to. That must have been... not exactly. My work is still closely related to architecture. Judging from the look on your face, you're still strapped for Mora. That's quite... With that said, us Kasharawa grads should still look...
Are you serious? But something like that has got to be... Besides, I don't want to just take something like that without offering anything in return.
Oh, you're too kind. This is compared to the classes taught by those old fossils at the academia. My classes are more condensed and streamlined, and will allow people to quit. Unlike the academia, it just so happens that I'm still looking for a few more instructors. So, regardless of the pay, I can already guarantee that it'll be far more comfortable than work.
Ah, so you want me to join you as an instructor? What do you think, Traveler?
Then it's a deal.
Yes, it's a deal.
Oh, like I said, there's no... As for the pay, how about we start at
300,000? Are you serious?
It would seem that you're still oblivious to your own. 300,000 is also just the base rate. I have to go make some preparations now.
I was never particularly close with Alkami when we were in school. I've hosted free lectures before, but this would be my first time being... Thanks so much. Now, what should I talk about tomorrow? Some lessons I've learned over the past few years? I should probably save those for later. All right, let's meet here again tomorrow morning. I should hurry home and create some kind of lesson.
Ad Astra Abyss. Thank you for completing. Ad Astra Abyss.
Pot of tea with a couple of nibbles, some seasonal greens, and a piping hot bowl of fresh kanji. That's a dope breakfast right there. The perfect way to start your day.
Oh.
I was up last night preparing for the lecture, but I ended up...
Lesson plan? But the training center has already developed its own set of teaching materials. Instead of using your own plan, you can just use... Sure, be my guest. It's almost time for the lecture to start. Feel free to head in and start the...
Huh. So you've already developed your own set of teaching materials. Seems like There's something else I want to ask, though. This isn't going to be a...
No need to stress. There are only 20 people in this. There are 14 classes at my training center. Out of all of them, the first class has the best grades, so I've directed them to you.
20 people, huh? All right.
Oh, and one last thing. In the interest of keeping a quiet learning space, only instructors and students are allowed in the classroom when class isn't. I'm sorry to say this, but your friend will have to wait outside while you teach the class.
Sorry about that. I'll meet you at the door when the class is over.
Hey there. Can I help you? Oh, Alkami? You mean that rich guy who's been making quite the name for himself? Yeah, I heard he earned a fortune working as a renowned architect. Now he's opened a training center so others can follow in his footsteps. If the tuition wasn't sky high, I'd enroll my child in a heartbeat. Architecture...
Did you hear? Alkami recruited Kaveh to be an instructor.
I bet that'll boost his enrollment numbers.
Really makes you jealous, eh? If you think about it, Alkami was never that talented himself as an architect. If we're just...
That's true, but you've got to admit, his advertisements are really effective. After all, the academia only admits those that can pass its entrance exam. For those who can't pass the exam, or who just want to jump straight into the industry, the training...
Man, to have that kind of business...
All right, everyone. There's no class is over, so we can just chat for a bit. I shouldn't have lost my temper during...
No, you weren't scary at all, Mr. Kaveh. We were just a bit lost and...
Oh, don't get me started. I was trying to use Alkami's materials, so I flipped through some pages and gave them a closer look. Alkami may fool an amateur, but he can't fool anyone who's active in our profession. The materials he made are completely useless for teaching real architecture. In my opinion, the most important skill of an architect is their ability to craft a design. In other words, there are tens of thousands of buildings in the world, as well as a countless number of architectural styles. The architects who can critically evaluate the quality and fit of different designs are those who can come up with great designs of their own. But all these students are doing in class is rote memorization of existing designs. They are learning nothing about the underlying principle. How can they expect to become real architects? When they're done with this class, all they'll be—
But, Mr. Kaveh, we didn't really understand anything you said. What's the big deal anyway? It's not like we're looking to make some works of art. We just want to make some Mora.
You're studying architecture to make Mora?
Yeah! Why else would we be studying here? My biggest dream is to become someone like Mr. Alkami. Once I finally make my fortune in architecture...
Huh. In that case, I'm afraid you'll probably be disappointed. The reality is that the work of an architect is very difficult, and the pay is not lucrative at all. Believe me.
But how? Mr. Alkami just told us last night that you made a killing by building the Palace of Alcazarzaret. He also said that as long as we graduate from his class, waves upon waves of people will reach. It won't be long before I can put these miserable days...
Come on. And you all believed everything he said?
But Mr. Alkami is really rich.
You... It's pointless trying to argue this with you right now. Let's go, Traveler. Let's hear about Alkami's true plans from the man himself.
What's wrong, Kave? You look quite flustered. Were the students not astute enough for your liking? I must implore you to go a bit easier on them. After all, they're nothing like the genius scholars you're